Hello, welcome. Today's video is the story of my birth. And before you think, oh what? No, not that bit. The story of the stuff that surrounds my birth. As you noticed, or may not have noticed, the channel's called A Coincidental Life. And there's a very good reason for that. In fact, there are many very good reasons for that. So let's start at the beginning. Now, if you look at Britain, there are two roads. One is Watling Street that starts down in Kent and follows right up through and goes off to Shrewsbury area. And the other one starts at Axmouth and goes from southwest to northeast to Lincoln. Now, Axmouth used to be a very busy port. Back in 2,000 years ago, it was a very big port because it had a depth, so it was quite useful and it was quite big. The only reason that stopped is because there was a landslide and it narrowed the channel, so it was quite easy to come to land Axmouth and then take the road across the country. Now, in the middle, where the two roads cross, there was an ancient British settlement that the Romans called Venone. Now the road that goes southeast to northwest, that's Watling Street, and that's the Fossway. Now on maps they're listed as Roman roads, but clearly if there's an ancient British settlement right in the middle, they're not, are they? So if you travel to there, what you find is this place. This is High Cross, and it was where I was born. Not exactly there, but 3 miles away. Around it there's a few houses, a couple of houses, and then the nearest town, which is called Hinckley. And when I was born, Hinckley was a lot smaller, and I'm not that far from there. But not only, and here's the house I was born in, on a street called Druid Street. Now, Druid Street, the house that I was born in, was surrounded by factories. Stockings factories, to be exact, because Druid Street was the centre of stockings production, worldwide stockings production, for 300 years. That's how full of industry it was. And as an aside, I love industrial estates. I know, it's bizarre, isn't it? It's not like I love them as such, it's just that I don't like what goes on there, but I feel comfortable in them because I was born in one. So naturally, it's strange, isn't it? Now, the street, Druid Street, was owned by the ancient order of Druids. which kind of basically means the Druids overlooked my birth, as it were. This is all going to make sense and be connected later on. It's not that simple. Like I said, this is a coincidental story. Now, a few meters from the house I was born in is a well and a spring, and you could go there now and find it. It's called Well Lane. But not only that, the house I was born in was part of Hinckley Castle. It was within the keep of Hinckley Castle. So not only was I born near High Cross, under the guidance of the protection of the Druids, but I was born in a castle. This is stuff I've found out yet recently. I didn't know any of this, and that's why it's quite bizarre. But not only was I born in the vicinity of the castle keep, but it turns out that the castle used to be owned by my great 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 grandfather. You will agree that, or you're likely to agree, that's quite some coincidences going on there. Just that. My grandmother was at my birth, which is quite interesting, but that's another thing. It's, you know, when you have your grandmother at your birth, it's interesting that I didn't know this. She's dead. She died a long time ago, and I didn't really know any of these details, because you don't find out these details until you're expecting children yourself, or your partner is, you know, and then your parents start telling you stuff. Anyway, if we fast forward another 2 years, we then drove down the Fossway to move to Devizes, to a road called Queen's Road. If you can see the link, Stockings, Queens, you know, little angle there, which is just down the road from Stonehenge. Stonehenge being a place that I have been intrinsically linked with for decades now, and that is going to be another video, but I'll come on to that when I do. And Stonehenge and the Druid association with Stonehenge is quite interesting. And also, being born near High Cross and then moving to Devizes. Devizes means division, boundary place. So it's almost like I've gone from like a crossing point of two things to a place between two things. I mean, is that some kind of thing between the worlds or something? I don't know. This is partly why I started the channel. To do all of this. Okay, it doesn't end there. There is more. When I finally got a job, when I left school, I worked literally just up the road at a factory, a minute away, at a factory called Hinchley's. They made electronic stuff. Like, the first thing I did was help design the ZX Spectrum and 81 power pack. Yeah, this computer shit, I'm involved. So I always thought that was quite, I'm now piecing it together. I've just literally pieced that bit together. As I've said that, the bit about the factory being a minute away and where I was born being in a road of factories. That's weird. Now my mother tells me, and this is a weird thing, this is a really weird thing. My mother tells me that when we lived at Druid Street, she used to go round telling people that she was one of the first Druids. And she says she had no idea why she was saying that. But I do now, because she was. I mean, I know I can't prove that yet. But, you know, I mean, when you say things like that and don't know why you're saying them, they're very often true. I've done it myself. And I hadn't kind of twigged, I just said it for a joke. Or, you know, or you can be so close to the truth that you didn't realise how close to the truth you were. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, so that's quite a funny, interesting bit to it. Almost like she knew. So I'm convinced that she was one of the first Druids. I was also born near where Richard III died. But that's another story for another time, and I will do it because that's slightly longer. So I hope you've enjoyed this, hope you find it interesting. I'm going to connect up the Stonehenge bit and go into more detail about that because that's massive. That affects me now. And some other things as well, so you know, there are a lot of stories coming. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Ta-da.